Pretty, isn't it? Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
What is up, you sexy YouTube mother lovers? Speaking of balance, today we are going to be talking about the most unicorn of all unicorn guns out there in existence. If you're an AK fan or just a gun fan in general, this is a gun that you would give your left chest not to shoot, even just once. Jesus, I'm not Sean Connery. Julia, fetch me my AK-107. But if I can talk today, we're going to go into the deeper mechanics of what the AK-107 is, what a balanced recoil system is, and how exactly it works. And you better strap yourselves in because this is another whiteboard of knowledge video. I haven't whipped out the whiteboard of knowledge since the Cast Trunnions video, and damn, I've just been itching for it. I love me some whiteboards. Don't know why, kind of weird like that. But anyway, let's talk about what the AK-107 is first. Now, the AK-107 is a very, very special Russian variant of the AK-47 or the AK-74. What it actually is the newer AK-100 series, which is the 103, the 104, 105s, well, all the way up to 106 and 107. But 107 is different, whereas the other ones are clones of the AKM or the AK-74. The AK-107 is the one that introduced the counterbalance recoil system to the 100 series rifles. Now, if you're wondering what that means, we're going to get into that right now. So the AK-107 is kind of famous for its ability to shoot incredibly flat. The sucker doesn't move when you fire it, even if you're doing full auto mag dumps. Incredible amounts of recoil control. The reason it is able to accomplish this is because of its counterbalance recoil system. What exactly that means, most people really can't tell you if they know it all. It's just a basic one-sentence description that they read off of Wikipedia one time. It's kind of a simple concept, but it's super interesting because not a lot of firearms actually incorporate this. Super rare to see, and the AK-107 is beyond a unicorn. I don't know of any AK-107s in the country. I know a couple of people in the comments have asked me to shoot an AK-107, and holy shit would I love to. I would take that opportunity any day. Don't know if I'm ever going to be able to because, you know, Russian sanctions and it being a new rifle being released by, you know, the new Kalashnikov concern, the consolidation of the Russian plants. Not to get too into the weeds, but there's very little chance any of us here in the United States will ever shoot one here in the United States. So I don't exactly have my visa ready to roll to Moscow. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But I do know how it works, and that's what we're going to talk about in the whiteboard of knowledge. Let's go. So just follow me over here. Pardon the mess. Things are getting renovated real quick. And so now we're going to be on the whiteboard of shit, let me get rid of this real quick. Cut, please. So this, contrary to what the title up here tells you, didn't really think of that before we filmed this bit, but this is not an AK-107. This right here is the bottom half of an AK-74. Basically what the operating system, if you don't know on an AK, is this long stroke gas piston rotating bolt. So as the gas goes through, bullets fired here. The basics of an AK real quick. If you already know the basics of an AK, feel free to skip ahead 20 seconds. I don't know what you do with all this time that you save by skipping through our videos, but it hurts our watch time, so thanks. You pull the trigger, hammer is then released, hits the firing pin that's sitting in here when the bolt is locked. The chamber, which is right about here in the front trunnion, contains the round. Round is fired, round travels through the barrel, and the hot gases behind that go up through the hole in the barrel right there at the gas block that travel up the gas block and hit a piston. Now that piston travels up here above the barrel, pushes that piston back, and that's attached to the bolt carrier, which then cams the bolt, unlocks it, so it now is pulling the round out of the chamber, fully goes all the way back to the rear trunnion. So when the bolt carrier reaches the back, oh hell, that's what that looks like, bolt and carrier. So when it's in the locked position, oh damn, that's close. I know what I'm doing. When it's in the locked position, it's rotated like this, so the bolt is locked and can't move backward. When that round is fired and that gas hits the front of this piston, this is pushed backward while the bolt stays locked, and it hits this groove here, which unlocks the bolt so this can travel freely to the rear. That shoots out the round and allows, with the recoil spring assembly, bolt carrier goes back forward, bolt picks up another round, and you are ready to rock and roll until the cows come home, which they won't because you're shooting a fucking AK. Now there is an inherent problem with this kind of system. Bolt carriers like this tend to be pretty heavy. That bolt carrier traveling to the rear really quickly because it's got all the pressure from that gas port smacks the rear trunnion here, which if you've got the rifle here, as soon as that rear trunnion is hit by the bolt carrier, you see a recoil impulse. If you watch AK shoot in super slow motion, if that is even just a tinge overgassed, you will see a massive recoil impulse from where that bolt carrier hits the back of the rear trunnion. So the question is, what do you do about all that reciprocating mass? And what does the AK-107 do differently? As you can see, all the mass on top of the barrel is moving in one direction, not the shitty band, the direction of the shooter operator. It's an anorexic ass bolt carrier too. Let me get that thing a fucking sandwich. What the AK-107 does differently is instead of moving all of this back in one direction, it splits the difference. So what you have, instead of a gas block that works one direction, actually we can pretty much do away with most of the top part of that. You still have your bolt carrier here. You still have a recoil spring assembly that's going to the rear. However, you have a shorter distance, I believe, gas block that goes right here that is two-sided. So what it does, same gas port right there in the middle of the gas block, but it splits the difference between two different pistons. You have one piston coming out this direction, and you have another coming out right here. Now you may be asking, okay, well, you're probably not asking, but for the sake of the video's flow, I'm gonna ask it for you. Brandon, you rugged yet kind soul, where is this secondary piston gonna go? There's nothing in the front of the gun for which this piston is going to accomplish anything. Well, that is where you would be hypothetically wrong. This gas piston right here is short, and it actually loops right back around as part of a secondary system. Wow, this marker is just shitting out on me all of a sudden. This secondary piston actually loops right back around in an L shape to another system that is interlocked with the bolt carrier. What the fuck? Oh no. The AK-107 saw Amy Schumer naked. Sorry about that. So obviously when I was drawing this, I exaggerated it a little bit just to make it easier to show you, but this is pretty much what it looks like. So what happens is when the round is fired this time on the AK-107 system, instead of just yeeting, because Brass Valley put that fucking word in my vocabulary, yeeting the bolt carrier group backward and bottoming out on the rear trunnion, what it actually does is when the gas port shoots hot gas up into the gas block, it goes in both directions. So it shoots the bolt carrier group backward, okay, into the fucking recoil spring system, which just covered up my arrow. It shoots the piston system forward. So this mass is moving forward, and this mass is moving backward. Now, they are doing this in perfect sync because there's actually a gear system right here where the rear sight block would be. So this kind of mass here, there is a system that is keeping them in perfect sync. Think about like, what was that when you were a kid? Beyblade, right? But now you're starting to see why this is referred to as a balanced recoil system. Because as the bolt carrier group is moving backward, the piston system, I'm just calling it the piston system, the counterweight, the counterbalance, is moving forward toward the front of the gun. And they both bottom out in perfect sync, right in the middle. It is just an elegant dance of simple Newtonian physics. Is it weird that that's arousing? That's the part that a lot of people are not really aware of. And there's plenty of you, I'm sure, that are already racing the comments talk about how I'm dumbing this down to an elementary school level. First of all, you met an elementary schooler? Not happening. Basically, the way this system works, to a little bit of a greater degree of detail than most people recognize, a lot of people, when they tell you about the AK-107, they know about the counterbalance recoil system. They know that there's a counterweight that moves forward. What they may not know, you could know, may not know, is the gear that's right there where the rear sight block would be. So that gear, for exaggerated purposes, right, looks something like this. From all the drawings I've ever seen, from patents to disassembly photos, I've really, I have looked into this gun very, very hard. I've studied this gun for a couple years because I thought it was interesting. One time I almost got my hands on a parts kit. It's a totally different story, but I've been obsessing with the AK-107 for many years. This is basically the design of the gear that I can come up with on most of the drawings. And these little holes, or these, these pegs, are actually circular. They're round on, oh, that's not a circle. The way that interfaces with the bolt carrier and the counterbalance is that each one of these has smallpox. No, they all have holes cut in them. They're actually more rectangular than the traditional AK bolt, or excuse me, bolt carrier. The typical AK bolt carrier is a, just a cylindrical shape. It's one of the most solid shapes in the entire geometrical library. It's a good design. It works, handles stress extremely well. The AK-107 is a little unique because instead of using the circular design, it goes with something that is a little bit more just squared off. And what it actually kind of looks like if you were to do a cutaway right in the middle is it would look like this. So it is very square compared to the traditional AKM. And this is roundabout where those holes lie. And those holes, from a top view, so these here are the sides, there. You guys know what I'm doing. Those holes are right there in the middle, and that's the interface. This gear, that right there. So as that is moving forward, you never know those like IQ tests, or when they try to make sure that you're not fucking retarded in school and you're just actually lazy and your grades are bad, and all your teachers tell you that you could excel at whatever you want to do. You just have to put your mind to it, but you really don't care about school, and you test really poorly and you drop out of college and start a gun company and do a lot of videos on YouTube. But anyway, kind of like the IQ tests from back in the day. Which direction is this gear moving? Because the bolt carrier group is being shot backward, it is actually moving this whole gear clockwise, because these holes are moving backward, going this way, kind of like a watermill or whatever the hell. So this whole thing's spinning this way, whereas on top, it is opposite, facing the bolt carrier. It is going this way. And so they are together in perfect sync because of those holes. And it is actually pretty damn neat. And if you get to see videos of it disassembled, actually, it's really hard to find a lot of good videos, like in-depth videos of the bolt carrier and this whole recoil system. There's not a lot out there, mostly because I assume a lot of it's military stuff where they don't really like people taking a lot of cell phone videos of how their shit works, and a lot of it because, I don't know, I was gonna make a racist joke about how Russia films on potatoes but they ate them all or something. I don't know where I was going with that. But if you do get the chance to see a video of this system working, it is phenomenal. It is the closest thing that I can think of that is a comm block weapon or a Soviet type of weapon that resembles a Swiss clock. It's beautiful to see all the pieces working together. Damn, I want one of these. So this is, until somebody really breaks it down, very complicated system. But once you kind of get the fundamental physics behind it, it's really not too bad, which begs the question, why don't more people do it? Well, I'm going to make that question a little bit more convoluted by adding in, this is not some new advanced type of military technology. This is something that's been around. The Soviets have been doing this since the mid-60s. All right, there's been a long trail of patents, or at least drawings and blueprints and prototypes going all the way back. I believe the AL-7 was one of the early ones from the 70s. They have been screwing around with counterbalance recoil systems that look very similar to the way the AK-107 functions for a long time. In fact, on the current market, Russians, so damn jealous, can buy a civilian version, the Saiga Mark 1. Don't hold me to this, guys, I'm doing a lot of this from memory, but the Saiga Mark 1 is actually a commercial variant of the AK-107 that was designed for 3-gun shooting and a bunch of other stuff, because it shoots ridiculously flat. So if you're shooting a 5.45 or a 5.56 and you're doing 3-gun stuff, you're going to annihilate, and they do, and it's awesome. They deserve it. But therein begs the question, why don't more people use this? If it's not new technology, and it's something that's been experimented around with in the past, not even just the Russians. I mean, there's plenty of people that have tried to do a counterbalance recoil system like this, because realistically, this is basic physics. This is Newtonian physics at a legit 4th, 5th grade level. Okay, you send one object back, send one forward, they meet in the middle, the center of gravity, the middle balance weight point of the gun, and things stay flat, especially if you have a good muzzle brake. It seems pretty simple. Why don't more people use it? For one, and I have to stress this is mostly hearsay. It's not exactly like somebody wrote a book on this stuff and it's been verified by a panel of experts. A lot of the stuff out there about this gun and the development of this gun are hearsay. Reliability issues. You took one of the simplest firearms on the planet and you added some gears and cogs and basically doubled the complicatedness of the bolt carrier system. So you also have two that are running in tandem, because this actually extends, if I'm not mistaken, a little bit further back and actually has to get out of the way in order for this thing to eject properly. And anybody who's ever screwed around with gun parts, gun internals, or even basically mechanically minded at all knows that high pressure parts moving very quickly don't like things like little pins holding in a gear that has to fit perfectly into perfectly sized holes. You're throwing a lot of variables in there for a gun that is very mechanical. Gas come up, hit piston, go back. It's very caveman, and you're adding a lot of variables to it. So I heard reliability was a major issue with these. The other part is cost. A lot of tooling involved. That's actually one of the other reasons why I don't think we have one here. It's because people are like, okay, well, just add a counterbalance to it, right? It's not that hard. Take a AK-74 and just add another piston. Not really, guys. So Delance is going to be showing a photo right now of the top view of the AK-107. Okay, you see that the bolt carrier is completely different. They're offset slightly. And so there is really no part of that entire bolt carrier piston setup or the gas block or anything, or the recoil springs or even parts of the trunnion, the rear trunnion. It's very complicated and it's very proprietary. Not a lot of these parts can be interchanged. I mean, you can use the same sheet metal receiver, probably the same selector, fire control group, lower handguard, pistol grip, that's about it. But yes, hopefully you guys have learned something from this, because this is the glorious AK-107. This one here, because of the curvature of the mag, 5.45. They made variants in 7.62 by 39 and 5.56 as well. I'm not sure why anybody would defile the AK platform with capitalist round like the 5.56, but hey. It's actually funny. There's a lot of butthurt people that think AKs are just for commies still. I'm a capitalist son of a bitch, right? I just like the rifle. Chill. So I tried to keep that pretty lively. This gets a little bit into the weeds as far as, kind of the engineering shit, but honestly, this is the stuff that I enjoy. Hopefully it was fun to watch and maybe you learned something. If you weren't familiar with this rifle system before, I would definitely I would recommend checking it out. It is cool exercise in physics, and it is also a cool motherfucking gun. I just like it, and I would love to have one. If you've ever wanted to shoot an AK-107, hit that subscribe button. But yeah, so this was kind of cool. If you want to see more in-depth stuff like this, or if you want to see even more in-depth stuff, like this was kind of, I went over the fundamentals of it. I explained it, I think, to the best of my ability, but I could go a lot deeper into the guts of this. If that's something you guys want to see, maybe we'll do a part 2, but if you want to see more guns broken down like this, please let me know, because I am totally down to do it. I love this stuff. I love it. I love talking nerdy to you. That's I think what I'm getting at. So if you guys want to see more stuff like this, please subscribe, and please make sure you leave a comment down in the place where the comments go. Down right there. Helps with the engagement. We get views, and then, help me out on this one, because I want to do nerdy content. I love this shit, all right? Don't make me... I like meme review. I like all that other stuff that we do. Will it AK? We're probably doing another one of those soon. But I like doing nerdy shit. So if you guys want to see more stuff like this, please recommend AK pattern rifles that you would like to see. Because I swear to God, if somebody asked me to do a G11, I'm giving up. I've tried to understand that gun. Not smart enough. It's big brain things. But anyway, guys, Hope you enjoyed the video. Enough rambling for me for tonight. Thank you guys very much, and I will see you sexy motherfuckers in the next video. Thanks. I'm having a good time today. I don't know, guys, I rarely have this much fun shooting videos, and I don't know if it's just because I'm incredibly sleep deprived, but this is actually fun for me, so we get to learn together. Well, a couple of you guys get to learn together. I'm just having a good time. I enjoy being with you. I really do. Lights up my day. AK-107's big brain time. Big brain thoughts here. You can tell I'm in a little bit more of a hurry because I'm on camera. I have performance anxiety, thank you. That was the whiteboard squeak of shame.